Friday Night Live. Always remember we were using that camera up there.
Okay.
But I usually look right there. What do you usually do?
I'm usually looking over at you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Friday Night Live. We thought we'd do the singers thing today. I was having a few conversations with some people about, they were saying, John Beaudin, what do you think are the greatest singers of all time? And I went, it's basically the list that I have here that, and they're not necessarily, you know how people, I use this example all the time, and I do love Nigel Olsson, don't get me wrong. He's one of my favorite drummers of all time. But people who love Elton John will pick Nigel Olsson. Let me just get out of this so my email doesn't go on. I keep forgetting, even when I'm doing live things on the other channel, I keep forgetting to turn off my email. I was having an interview with Henry Gross the other day, and his email kept coming off. But luckily, after about 5 minutes, it didn't happen. So,
hey, Rick May. Greetings
Rick
from
May.
Ohio. Time to play the Pretender song, Whack on the Chain Gang. Hit that like button, folks.
Whack on the chain, gang.
Hello, Dwayne. Greetings from Edmonton, Alberta. Hey.
So is that my Dwayne that lives in Edmonton?
Yeah.
Dwayne, I don't know why I didn't know you were the Dwayne from Edmonton. What's that joke you always have about the bathtub?
Oh, the knock knock. Who's there?
Yeah.
What
Who's
joke?
there?
Yeah, Dwayne.
Dwayne who? Shannon?
Dwayne the bathtub. I'm drowning.
Oh, I see. We're going there.
Hi, Karen. Hi, Shannon and John.
Hi.
Melody R. Hey.
Hi,
Hey,
Melody.
Dwayne says my favorite male singers are a tie between Eric Burdon and Ray Charles.
Ah, cool. We were having a conversation of going, Shannon's parents are getting older, and if we ever would move back west, and we both made the decision that if we moved west, we would move to Edmonton. I don't think I ever want to live in Calgary, and nothing against Calgary. It's like it was really
Calgary
good.
was great, but we're just kind of getting a little bit of this bug now to kind of, if we like a province, but maybe pick a different city in the province.
Yeah,
So-
I lived in Edmonton from 79 to 89, and then went to Vancouver, and in 97, it took me a couple of years to find her, but I met her, and then we moved to Calgary because of Danica's autism. And then after that, so there. We should.
But we are loving it here in the Maritimes.
Nice here. People are really nice.
This is a beautiful city, and we're enjoying ourselves.
Okay, this is my list. Okay, Lou Gramm, Foreigner, Steve Perry, Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin, of course, Freddie Mercury of Queen, Chris Cornell from so many different things that he had done, Roger Daltrey, Eddie Vedder of Pearl Jam, Jim Morrison. Janis Joplin, Beatles, anybody from the Beatles. Well, John and Paul from the Beatles. Who else? I like Lane Staley from Alice in Chains. Lane died in a very tough way. Don Henley, Bruce Dickinson, Iron Maiden. I'm not the biggest Iron Maiden fan. I think he's such a great singer. Paul Rogers, Bad Company and Free. Elton John, of course, is right up there. Bruce Hornsby.
Brad Delp.
Oh, Brad Delp's on there from Boston. Ann Wilson's my favorite female singer of all time. And we've got that, of course, that series. There we go. We've got that series running right now with Michael DeRosier, or DeRosier, as we say in French, Steve Fossen, also the Fisher brothers, Mike and Roger from Heart.
I'm going to go back here.
Okay.
Ronnie Parker, good evening.
Hi.
Mike Smith, Paul Rogers from Bad Company, soulful voice with the perfect amount of grit and swagger.
Couldn't have said it better. I mean, he's just got the combination of all the things that you love. Bobby Kimball's another one from Toto. I think Bobby's amazing. And I love Joe. Everyone knows I'm a big Joe William fan.
JP Milano. So I'm 66 and I've heard so many great ones. Mm-hmm. Steve Perry always seems to be one of the best.
Yeah. I had to put him on the list because Steve is, and people are, well, you can't sing like that anymore. Well, yeah, can you do what you used to do when you were in your 20s? I mean, when it comes to physical or those kind of attributes, can you really do those things anymore?
Jan Gunner, Mark Farner, Grand Funk.
Oh, great choice. He's been on I've had 3 interviews with Mark. He's such a good guy. Nice man.
Living in Oregon, Steve Marriott.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need no doctor. Darren chimes in, Steve Perry, Lou Gramm, and Mike Reno started on drums in their youth, but became frontman vocalists in their well-known bands.
I was just interviewing Shem Von Schreck from Toto, also Kenny Loggins, Christopher Cross, Don Felder. We had a really long conversation about, the greatness of the guys in Toto and how amazing they are. And he talks to David Paich every 3-4 days, which is really, really nice. Steve Porcaro, he still talks to him a lot. And he's a great singer. We were talking about John Anderson an awful lot and the singers that he grew up with.
Nose Len 954. Have you guys ever heard of Eva Cassidy?
Oh, yeah. We just did a thing on Eva Cassidy. I just go on Rock History Book. I just did a thing, but the anniversary of her death was a few days ago. And so, she's not a rock singer, but she's one of the greatest singers that ever lived. And that's kind of how I titled the video. Just look up Rock History Book, Eva Cassidy, and we're very familiar with her. I've done a few features on her.
Elaine Cox, hey John and Shannon, welcome from Marigum, Victoria, Australia.
Oh, wow.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Darren says, Phil Collins and Don Henley were drummers in their own well-known bands, but didn't become frontman vocalists until later on.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, not till, Don Henley always sang with them. He was always a singer. Phil Collins was not. Phil would do harmonizing with Peter Gabriel and had a song on, he had a song on Selling England by the Pound. And then a few albums later, when Peter left, he became the lead singer. But Don Henley was always the lead singer, one of the lead singers of the Eagles.
Brandon says Bobby Kimball, Freddie Mercury, Rob Halford, Roger Daltrey, and Tom Jones.
Yeah, Rob Halford doesn't get... I mean, he's in the... Of course, it's a huge band, but... and I'm not... that's not my genre, but I think he's an amazing singer.
James Bashir is, hey James, happy
James.
Friday from Dogtown Road, Shannon John. Hope everyone is well.
We're doing really well.
You've actually, I think you've lost the cough now. You've been doing really good.
In between the intros and extras of the Heart thing, and at that point I'd had... No, it's not Heart. It's the intros and extras of Alan Parsons. You can tell my voice is ratchet. I just remember I sneezed maybe 40 times and I almost lost my voice. And I said, I've got to go down there and do these really, really fast because I'm going to lose my voice.
Totally. Dwayne, the bathtub. Yeah, I thought that was funny too. Elton John, Sammy Hagar says Russell.
Sammy Hagar, yeah. I love Sammy Hagar's vocals. Just something about his growl. It's one of the reasons I like Joseph Williams. He doesn't do it as much with Joe, but Joseph Williams can do that growl and not hurt his voice,
Melody R. Burton Cummings.
Yes.
Karen,
one of the most distinctive voices of all time.
Karen says, my favorite singer is Steve Perry.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Elaine says, top 5, Pierce Tira, Don Henley, Steve Perry, and Jude Cole.
Oh, I love Jude Cole.
Mm-hmm.
I included, we have a new backdrop that I just did. It took me all day yesterday to do it. It's all the greatest albums. There's I think 8 or 6 albums behind me. And I've lowered the intensity of it, so when I talk, the albums won't, hopefully not interrupt what I'm saying too much, or maybe that's a good thing. And I made sure to put Jude Cole back there. So she did say Jude Cole, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gene Phillips, Robert Plant, Ann Wilson.
Yeah.
Dwayne says, I saw Paul Rogers live and Randy.
Where is it?
And Randy Bachman
and
Fred Turner.
You thought about it. Good for you.
I met him after the show and he signed the set list.
Yeah, see, when I learned that it wasn't Bachman, but it was Bachman.
I go back and forth with that because I'm
and he
so
doesn't care.
saying it
I don't think he really...
the other way, right?
If you watch the weird thing is, remember I told you, I watched the documentary and in the first 60 seconds, someone says Bachman and someone says Bachman. In the first 60 seconds of the check it out. I mean, it's he obviously doesn't care. He told me he didn't care back in 2000 and when did I leave the radio station in Calgary?
2008.
Yeah. Well, we went there at 2. It was only 5-year 2007. Would have been 2007. So around 2006, he told me that, and I've interviewed him twice that year. Then interviewed him for like an hour and a half a few months ago.
Living in Oregon, Terry Kath.
Oh yeah. I don't think people would call him like the perfect voice, but there was something about he had a rough kind of voice, he was sound like a big guy, which he was a big guy. And unfortunately, we lost him near the late 70s, but was it 77, 78? And it was a shock to so many people. First, they said the report was he was playing Russian roulette and he didn't care where it landed. But the story now is basically that it was an accident. And there's so many people who always say Chicago's not Chicago without Terry Kath, which I think is kind of disrespectful to the other guys. There was a piece that was missing, of course, but it's still Chicago.
Frank Janet, good evening, ladies and gents. Dwayne says my favorite female singer is Aretha Franklin.
Oh, you picked a good one.
Claudia C. Hey, Claudia. Steve
Claudia.
Perry, the greatest singer-performer of all time, without a doubt.
He's a great singer. He's so amazing.
And
Cool guy.
Sorry. Hike with Mike. Hey, folks. Steve Perry, my favorite. He was my icon that I followed his singing style as I learned to sing and play in my hair bands.
Who's come up the most? Steve Perry.
Yeah.
Steve Perry has come up the most tonight.
Mike Smith says there's something wonderfully delicate about Roy Orbison singing. His voice swooped from mournful wails to delicate, vulnerable
And that vibrato. Yeah, that vibrato he had was amazing.
John at Village Advisory. Happy Saturday morning from Melbourne, Australia.
Hey,
Welcome
John.
back, Shannon. Thank you. Favorite male singer, Harry Nilsson. Female, Melanie, just ahead of Joni Mitchell.
Melanie. I've been trying to get her. Trying to talk to some people who've been at Woodstock. Of course, she was. And so far, it hasn't worked. So,
Lucinda Beggs. Hey, Lucinda. Steve
Lucinda.
Nicks. Hi, guy. Stevie Nicks.
Oh,
Hi,
yeah,
guys.
very distinctive voice. She has her own lane.
I'm just skipping over a few so I can kind of keep up here. Serge N said Tina Turner.
Tina Turner, yeah.
Yeah,
good choice.
James says John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Grace Slick, Don Henley, and Vince Gill.
Vince Gill's an amazing singer. Of course, he's known as being an amazing guitarist. And I've told you the story that John Barlow Jarvis, who's worked with him, co-wrote I Still Believe in You, and they won a Grammy for that. John had told me when I tracked him down that he says Vince is probably one of the nicest guys, that he's ever worked with in his life. He won a Grammy with the Judds as well.
And Moses says there's so many to choose from, and there is.
Isn't that good news, though? We had so many, and most of them, a lot of the ones that are being named tonight are people that we still live around, which is really nice.
D. Jid Video. Robert Plant is hands down the greatest. Nobody is more versatile. Robert's career started in the mid-'60s, and he still sounds great in 2022.
When you listen to the stuff with Alison Krauss, he sounds like a different singer. I mean, he doesn't sound, because it wouldn't fit if he's doing bluegrass, right? He just sounds like a different guy, and it's cool. It works.
Roger Daltrey, great front man and great studio.
Yeah, he was on my list. Yeah, when I read the list, I had a list in the beginning, and he's definitely on my list. And even some people that I don't buy their records, where I can see that they're great singers.
David Vasquez. My favorite got to be Steve Perry,
Yeah.
Brad Delp, Bobby Kimball, Ann Wilson, Kenny Loggins, and don't forget Mickey Thomas.
Of course, fooled around and fell in love. We built this city. Yeah, I've been communicating with Mickey. We've been texting each other. I'm still trying. John Zake is a good friend of his. He goes back. John Zake is Bobby Kimball's producer, and one of these days I'll get Mickey to come on the show. But he's trying.
Sue Bailey. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Sue.
John and Shannon. Barbara Lohan. Hello, all. Hi, John and Shannon. Wishing you all a great weekend. Thank you, Barbara. Blaze. Eisner. Brother John and Sister Shannon. How do you choose?
How do you choose? Yeah, and a lot of times it's like I like the big rock singers like Brad Delp. I love Joseph Williams. So I'm a big rock, but my favorite singer of all time is Elton John, and Bruce Hornsby's probably not too far behind. Bruce's stuff in the last few years have been a little out there for me, but I still buy it.
And Blaze had his list: Steve Perry, Lou Gramm, Judy Collins, Sandy Denny, Joni Mitchell, Ann Wilson, Smokey Robinson, Rita Coolidge, and Carl Wilson.
Sandy Denny, good choice.
In one more, Klaus, is it Klaus Mean?
Yeah. I don't know how to say that. Yeah, there's the Ann Wilson has come up an awful lot, and deservedly so. We wish we could have got Ann on the show, but it doesn't look like that'll ever happen now. But she's my favorite female rock singer of all time. I think she really deserves to be up there.
Gennaro. Hey, Gennaro.
Hi,
Tough
Gennaro.
question. First name that comes to mind is Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce is a great rock, yeah. But he does the slow stuff too. For me, Darkness at the Edge of Town was the first I bought. And then I went and bought Born to Run. And I bought a few more of his albums. Born in the USA, it had, like 7 singles on it or something crazy? Yeah, a few albums. We're going to do a feature on that. You know, albums with the most singles. They weren't all hits necessarily, but when the record company says, let's release it as a single because it's strong enough, or else there's enough velocity behind with the other songs, right? They'll think, well, people are buying everything. What was the name of that? Cold Hearted Snake by Paul Abdul. I remember thinking, oh my God, I can't believe they released this piece of crap.
Yeah,
the worst song.
It
did really well. But I'm to this day, I'm still convinced
She had
that.
a little videos and a little dancing, and she could dance.
Look into his eyes. I remember thinking, this is an awful song.
I've got Chris Marzoli, Patti Smythe of Scandal, very overlooked.
Really powerful singer. Yeah, very true.
Living in Oregon, Geddy Lee.
Geddy Lee, I wouldn't put him necessarily on there. I wouldn't have thought of Geddy Lee as a singer for Rush in a million years, but I would have been wrong because obviously they did incredibly well. So he's a vocalist that I've gotten to love, but I love Rush. And John Anderson, the same thing as yes. I wouldn't have picked John. I told John Anderson that myself. I said, you know what? I wouldn't have picked you as a lead singer for that type of band, but I would have been so incredibly wrong. And he said, thanks for your honesty.
I've got Plaquin. Hi, from Pat. Hi, I'm Pat from Washington, D.C. And Steve Perry is
Pat.
not only an iconic singer, he's a consummate performer, songwriter, professional. He's definitely sells a feeling.
And a good guy, you know, a big baseball fan, of course, but a really, really good guy. Everything seems to be palatable with Steve Perry. There's just, you know, people like, he's been the biggest, most mentioned person tonight.
Alex Knight. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Alex.
John Anderson from Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Dwayne chimes in. Gino Vanelli is also a great singer.
What a great singer, Gino Vanelli.
Thank you, Gennaro. Hit that like button.
Thank you. And if you want to, sponsor the channel at all, if you want to help out the channel, there are links to Patreon. You can join our Patreon. A lot of heart stuff on there right now. And you can join you can also make a donation on PayPal. The links are right in the top of the description. Thank you.
Jeff Mazai, Bill Champlin.
Bill Champlin's a really, really good singer. Very distinctive voice. Nobody sounds like Bill.
Mark Kozin. Let's not forget the great vocals of Jason Sheff, both with Chicago and now with Generation Radio.
Yeah, Jason's a nice guy. 3-hour interview with Jason Sheff. 3 hours. What a guy.
Darren. Shannon, how are you doing? You were missed last Friday. I'm doing well, thanks. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to sitting in with everyone tonight.
Yeah, we did a thing. Sorry, to interrupt you. We did a thing. What's the demo of male to female on this channel?
I think it's like 89% male
89% male
to 11%.
But it's a classic rock. So we love you, males. We really appreciate you, females, for coming on. But it is what it is. You know, you get what you get based on. There's our daughter.
And Rick, Annie Lennox, and Martha Davis from the Motels.
Martha Davis, on first listening to her, she's such a quirky personality type. I remember when she did that song with Fee Waybill of the Tubes, Monkey Time. Yeah, their cover of Monkey Time. She's a very different singer. Only the Lonely, remember? Is that what was the name of that song?
I see.
Only the Lonely can play. Remember that? Is that how it went?
Yeah, I have that video in my head.
Only the lonely can play.
Yes, Only the Lonely. Sue, my favorite singers are Joseph Williams, Paul McCartney, Steve Perry, Carly Simon, and Linda Ronstadt.
You got a good group, Linda Ronstadt. Yeah, we've got to mention her. Sorry, I got to stop playing with this thing.
Yeah.
I'm playing with this thing here.
Jid Video said from the 90s is a three-way tie with Lane Staley,
Yeah, Lane Staley.
Scott Wieland, and Chris Cornell.
Yeah, you got them all from that,
Yeah.
that grungy kind of time.
Fraser J. Hi, Fraser.
Hi, Fraser
New
J.
glasses, John. Looking very suave.
I've had these for a long time, but I don't. I have an ugly mole that I'm getting removed right here. So I'm getting removed when, honey?
In about a week or so.
Yeah. $600 later.
Dennis Casto. Dennis DeYoung cannot be left out of such a list.
Oh, what a another distinctive singer. No one sounds like Dennis DeYoung. And a great writer, wrote so many songs. And he was a guest on this show. Talked to him for about an hour and a half. He was very nice guy to talk to.
Pablo Cruz. For me, it's Paul Rogers and Ann Wilson. Love them both.
Two singers of the same ilk. Really powerhouse singers that could sing anything.
Watch Officer Benny. Eric Bloom from Blue Oyster Cult. Probably my favorite after Dio.
Oh, cool. Yeah. We had the Bouchard brothers from Blue Oyster Cult. Both on here. I think there was 3 interviews. Yeah.
Now, if I'm missing a few people as they comment, I'm just trying to kind of keep up because we have a lot of comments here. Mm-hmm. So if I've overlooked yours, sorry. We're just kind of trying to kind of go through here. Transparent Media Truth. Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Oh, harmonies, eh? When you talk about harmonies, there's another topic. LRB, the Eagles, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. The harmony bands that really can do it, yeah.
Living in Oregon, Benjamin Orr of the Cars.
He was a great singer. It's weird when you think of it. Both lead singers of the Cars are dead. Rick Ocasek, Benjamin Orr.
Hike with Mike V, lead singer, Boston, was amazing. Great vocal range.
Brad Delp, yeah. He killed himself, unfortunately.
Dwayne says Dennis DeYoung is a great singer for sure.
And a real eccentric, real cool guy to interview. He's a real showman, even when he's being interviewed. He's fun.
BD says Lou Graham, Jimmy Jameson, Joe Lynn Turner, Mike Reno, Robbie LeBlanc, and Brian Howe.
I guess my friend Eamon O'Neill just interviewed Joe Lynn Turner, and he said he was into a lot of conspiracy type things. Don't quote me. I think it was him.
Fraser J says Joseph Williams. Isn't that right, John?
Yes, that's right. I love Joe Williams.
I think you got his number.
I love his vocals. The 7th one just got me. I was going through a breakup. That's the one with Carrie. I was going through this breakup with this wonderful lady who is a friend of mine now. She's a principal in Portland, Oregon, I think, and she's really done well for herself. But we were going through this awful breakup, and she was being really nice. I was just missing her. A lick in the floor with pain, as I always say. You know what I mean? And then the 7th one came out. Hallelujah! It got me through that. I kept imagining I was Joseph Williams singing with the band, and somehow my imagination got me through that with the 7th one.
Frank says Steve Perry is notable, the best vocalist of all time.
He's won tonight so far.
Yeah. Dennis Casto, Steve Perry wasn't labeled the voice for nothing.
Yeah.
Christopher Cruz, hi Christopher. Lou Graham, John Lennon, David Lee Roth, Don Henley, Robert Plant, Jeff Lynne, Eric Clapton, David Gilmour, and not necessarily in that order.
Jeff Lynne hasn't come up so far, but really cool. Knows how to layer vocals, man.
Jid Video, what about Elvis Presley?
Elvis, yeah, of course. Can't.
He
is the king.
Jeff Mazzei, Steve Lukather.
Steve Lukather has a very distinctive voice. You can tell when you hear Steve. Yeah, I like his vocals. Love his guitar more, but all around a great musician.
We've got quite a few here. Michael McDonald, Kate Bush, Patti Smythe.
Michael McDonald, yeah.
Michael Sadler from Sega.
Mm-hmm.
Jimi Hendrix, hated his voice, but I would have to say some of the best songs ever.
And Jimi Hendrix comes up on a lot of these lists when you talk about, because I went through some of the lists, and I always do before I go on, saying, okay, what are other people thinking? But I just don't put them down if I don't agree with them, because it's not moving me, right? But Jimi Hendrix comes up.
Swede Savage, hello Swede.
Hey, Swede Savage.
Rick Emmett, always overlooked for his singing.
Yes. Oh, he's such a great singer. He was asked to join Boston. It was a casual conversation, he said, with Tom Scholz, but he was asked to join Boston and and damn Yankees at one point, he said.
Ed Dana, Burton Cummings, Tommy Shaw, both amazing.
Burton Cummings, again, I'll say it over and over again. No one is in that lane of sounding like, no one sounds like Burton Cummings. And he does a great Gordon Lightfoot impersonation if you've seen him in concert.
Dwayne says, Christine McVie and Stevie Nicks are great singers too. I saw Fleetwood Mac live in 2014.
Yeah, they are. Christine was suffering when I saw her on the Today Show a little bit. She might have been having a bad day, I don't know. But her voice was thinning out a little bit. And she doesn't want to tour anymore. I think that's over for Fleetwood Mac.
Douglas Schwabe, I'm glad you're interviewing Alan Parsons. He always used great singers like John Miles, David Patton, Alan Clark, and Lenny Zakatek. We interviewed Lenny, and Lenny is part of the new series. We've put him in because we've used that interview before. But there's one clip, I don't think it's out yet, where Lenny, I said, well, okay, you go in there, games people play. No, I wouldn't want to be like you was the first one. And I said, so did he give you direction? And he said, no, not a lot. He just went in there, and when he sang, I wouldn't want to be like you. They said, okay, thank you. And he thought, what? That's it? No feedback? And then Lenny said, can I just get one more pass? Give me one more pass. Let me do it. And Alan Parsons said, no, it's fine. He said, please just let me get one more pass. And he ad-libbed a little bit on the pass. And that's the one that on that take, and that's the one they used. I Don't Want to Go Home, to me, is one of the greatest vocal performances from Alan Parsons Project. But the only problem is when he sings it so harshly, you're almost waiting for his voice to crack. And it almost sounds like it's doing that, but it's, to me, that's I love that. I Don't Want to Go Home, Alan Parsons Project. Kate Bush, Carly Simon from Glen.
Yes.
Lucinda says, Sting is amazing live. Mm-hmm. JD, greetings to Rita Coolidge, Carly Simon, Cher, lookalike Shannon, happy days.
I always thought that someone had, in a review years ago, had said that Rita Coolidge was the Perry Como of female rock singers. Oh, someone give us a super chat.
Oh, Jeffrey Jackson. My favorites are John Anderson and Peter Gabriel. Ian Jillian on Jesus Christ Superstar is unbelievable.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much for your donation. Appreciate that. Crimson King, Freddie Mercury, followed by David Bowie.
Freddie Mercury, man. Mm-hmm. He's come up an awful lot. David Bowie is on my list, even though I was not that much of a David Bowie fan, but as a versatile singer who could do so many different genres, reinvents himself, literally. I
think Steve Perry is really coming up a lot
Steve Perry's hands down the best singer.
As I'm looking through here. Lynn Crop Newell, Peter Gabriel, Kenny Loggins, Robert Plant, Steve Perry, and Eric Michael Crop.
Hey, thank you for all your... and it's important to us to hear that. You know what I mean? Yeah. As we're creating stories for this or going after interviews, it's kind of important for us to hear
your favorites.
Yeah.
Dennis says, and David Cloverdale really has covered some ground vocally in his career.
Yeah. He's got great hair, too. Really good hair.
So
they all had good hair.
H. Godvilla 00. Hi, John and Shannon. Happy back on your Friday night live stream. My two favorite rock singers of all time are Steve Marriott from Humble Pie and the Small Faces, and Noddy Holder from Slade.
Oh yeah, yeah. He had a style,
So many things are just flying.
Slade weren't that big
screen.
In North America. They weren't that big here as they were overseas.
Aaron Campbell. Hi, Aaron. Jack
Aaron.
Bruce of Cream.
Yeah.
Anyone remember Elvis Presley? As we talked about that. Karen says, "Can you interview Steve Perry sometime?"
I've tried. I have a connection with him. He has gatekeepers, and I have to. The thing with Steve Perry now is to say we're not going to mention the lawsuit. We're not going to talk about that because he can't talk about it because it's a pending lawsuit. Or it's still, it hasn't even gone to trial or anything yet with Neil Sean and Jonathan Cain. So,
Surfer Boy, hello from Boston, John and Shan. Hi, nice to have you here. Frank says, "Oh yeah, Ian Gillian, Jesus Christ Superstar. I only want to say all-time vocal." Mm-hmm. Rick says, "Not the greatest but unforgettable Johnny Cash."
Yeah, Johnny Cash comes up on lists. I've noticed. I looked at about 14 lists tonight before we came on, and Johnny Cash was on there. Distinctive voices doesn't necessarily mean vocal prowess, as far as the range. It's not like no one's mentioned Whitney Houston, have they? And there's one of the greatest singers that ever lived, but she's not a rock singer as well. We're talking about rock singers.
Gennaro says another great singer would be Hall & Oates.
Yeah. Daryl Hall especially.
John says Paul Stanley gets a lot of hate, but he had a damn fine rock voice.
What a yeah. And you could always tell it was Paul when it was Paul singing. I mean, they all sang, but.
JD says, John, how do you manage to still keep your hair looking dark, or he says black? Are you dyeing your hair at all? I'm 62 and graying at the sides. Help me.
Can you see my gray? Can you see it there?
He does not dye his hair.
I don't dye my hair.
And here's a fun fact: when I went to go meet his dad a few years ago before he passed on, he had a lot of hair and his hair was still dark. And how old was he?
Oh, when you saw him, he would have been 78. He would have been in his 80s, early 80s.
But his hair was still dark.
Yeah, but no, I mean, people always say, I don't know why I have to prove this, but look you can see I have gray in my hair. See, but I don't dye I dye this sometimes.
Sweet Sabj, thank you so much for your donation as well.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. That's really nice of you.
Yeah, if you want to talk about hair products or face products, I can chime in anytime.
She thought she was having a reaction last week to because she broke out a little bit. I mean, her version of breaking out is I don't even notice
my face just got red and rashy. I don't know if it was like it could be 5,000 things: hair products, facial, who knows?
Yeah.
Anywho, the motels, only the lonely. Oh my gosh, it's moving so fast here. El Terrifico, hello there, John. You got the Guy Fawkes look going.
Okay, thank you. We were watching. What's the shameless show we were watching?
Love is Blind?
Love is Blind.
First of all, I said, you know what? I'm just going to fast forward to the very end to see when they go down the altar and if they actually make it. And John's like, no, I'm not interested. Then, of course, I start watching. He's like, don't fast forward. Let's watch it.
We don't watch any shows like that. We don't watch a 90-Day Fiancé.
Never.
We don't watch The Bachelor, The Bachelorette.
No,
we did in the beginning. It was just too much. And
I watched Big Brother the first season of that, maybe.
Yeah,
but we just don't follow any reality stuff at all.
What's the one where they're on the island? What's the
Lost? Is it not?
No, not. That one.
I can't remember.
The big one. I forget.
Sound Lab Studios. Carl Wilson. I'm getting back on track here. Pookie Martinez.
Hey,
Bradley
Pookie.
Delp.
Bradley Delp. He came up a lot. I think Bradley's probably number 2 tonight.
Randy Meisner from Nowhere Man. Jerry on the radio. Hello from Austin, Texas.
Hey.
Hi, all you rockers. I think Jeff Tate of Queensrÿche is very underrated. It's a pity. Check out Operation Mindcrime.
Shem Von Schreck, formerly of, like I said, Kenny Loggins, Don Felder, Toto. We were talking about Queensrÿche tonight. Yeah.
Okay, and we've got Rick May, definitely an acquired taste. Bon Scott.
Oh, he was on a few of the lists. There you go. That I looked at tonight before I came on the air.
Thank you so much, Karen, for your donation.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Karen.
that. It's very thoughtful.
Thank you.
Gary Eldon Meggs, Taylor Dane. Oh, I grew up with her.
Have you seen Taylor Dane?
She still looks
great. Oh my God.
She looks great.
She
How
looks
old is
amazing.
she?
I mean, I'm not going to say she had work or didn't have work. It doesn't look like she's had work.
But she looks great.
But some people, they go out of their way to look like they've had work. Like Madonna looks like a robot now. Madonna looks weird. But it's her body. She wants to do that. But she released a video last night where she was lip syncing. I don't know that trend of lip syncing to things and movie things. I don't get. I look at TikTok and I'm going.
It's a TikTok thing for sure.
It is, eh?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm going. That's not interesting.
Gary says Alana Miles.
Yes, Alana Miles.
Jeff Lynne for sure. Mm-hmm. Sharon Fox, Linda Ronstadt,
Linda Ronstadt,
Pookie Martinez, John Lennon. Yeah. Sharon Fox, Steve Lukather, great guitarist, incredible voice.
Yes.
John Waite.
Oh, John Waite, first time tonight. Yeah. John Waite's a great
That's from
singer.
Transparent Media Truth brought that up.
Thank you.
Sound Lab Studios, a guy knows classical just as well as rock and roll. Sonia Flowers, Link Ray, the one.
Oh yeah, you're a big Link Ray fan.
Yes.
Yes.
Linda Lou, Ozzy.
Ozzy has come up once on about 14 lists that I came up with because of the fact, I mean, he's a distinctive singer, but he doesn't come up a lot on these lists.
Steve Marriott, Roger Daltrey, John Anderson, Jeff Buckley.
Jeff Buckley came up.
Amanda Marshall.
Amanda Marshall.
I haven't heard her in ages.
Yeah, I don't know if she's suffering from She might just not want to be playing the business anymore. I don't know if she's got some emotional problems going on. She doesn't do many shows. She promised an album in 2020, I think, or 2019, and nothing happened.
JD, hi Shannon. You have a similar jaw like Carly, Cher, and Rita. You are blessed with a great jaw.
A good jaw.
Makes you attractive looking. Thank you. I never thought about my jaw, but thank you. Jeffrey Jackson gave a donation. My favorite are John Anderson and Peter Gabriel. Jillian on Jesus Christ Superstar is unbelievable.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
That.
We appreciate that.
You know what? Shannon was leaving her. There was a client that wasn't working with them, and Shannon used to always wear stiletto high heels. And one of the guys who was going to buy a home said, "I'm gonna miss your feet." I know you hate me telling that story.
Okay, Ron Carroll. Oh, sorry, it's moving so fast here. Jeff Buckley, Donald Fagan, Daryl Hall, Don McLean, Robin Zander.
Oh, Robin Zander, first time tonight.
Carrie Crouch. Hi, John and Shan. Always happy to see you guys on Friday night. Hi.
Hi.
Again, sorry if I'm missing anybody. It's just moving fast here. Let's see here. Hannestown, Steve Perry, another Steve Perry. Mars says Lou Graham.
Lou Graham has come up a lot. Yeah.
John Toomey. I can't believe Roy Orbison does not qualify.
No, he does. I mean, he's not a rock singer. He's a rock and roll singer.
Pookie Martinez. Alex Chilton.
Yeah.
No, and Mike's Hike with Mike. Nobody mentioned Steve Tyler of Aerosmith yet.
Not once.
Nope.
That's wild, isn't it?
Rick May, Cindy Wilson, Kate Pearson of the B-52s. Mm-hmm. Michael Jackson.
They sound great together. Michael Jackson's first time tonight.
Bono.
But he's not a rock singer.
Ritzky06, Michael McDonald.
Oh, Bono's not. That's the first time Bono's come up.
Yeah. Dave Grohl, Brian Connolly. I gotta put my glasses on. We're moving too fast here for me to see.
First time for Brian Connolly of Sweet, yeah.
Dennis DeYoung.
Dennis DeYoung has come up a lot. Dennis DeYoung, Lou Graham, but Steve Perry so far has won the night. From more people have mentioned Steve.
Oh, Julia says Joe Cocker.
Oh, of course.
John Toomley, Pat Benatar.
Great singer. Ann Wilson.
Tom Evans of Badfinger. You might say he was the Davy Jones of that group.
Yeah, second singer, yeah. Second guy to die, to commit suicide.
Norma says Steve Perry is number one. Sound Lab Studios, Lindsey Buckingham.
Oh, yeah, Lindsey
Paul
Buckingham.
Rogers.
There's another name's come up a lot tonight. We got to get him.
Ooh. Julia, speaking of drummers, Don Henley, Mick Jagger, Christopher Cross, Robert Palmer, Greg Lake.
Oh, Greg Lake, of course, yeah.
Karen Carpenter.
Not a rock singer, but yeah, great singer.
Rob Halford.
Yep.
Mickey Thomas, Peter Black Diamond, Jeff Tate. Neil Peart was the best ever, though he didn't sing.
Yeah, Neil Peart, yeah.
Karen Carpenter. I love Karen Carpenter, but she's not rock and roll, but adult pop.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that always happens with these lists. You always get people who say, well, you're talking about great singers, I got to mention
Sting of the Police, there are screamers and there are singers. Meatloaf Forever. Roger Dodgson, Supertramp.
Roger Hodgson.
Hodgson, sorry. 20-year Bon Scott.
Bon Scott's come up about 10 times tonight.
Thanks, James. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Thanks, James.
Chrissy Hine of The Pretenders, her vocals were real and heartfelt. Love with singers and lyrics are real and heartfelt.
She really went into a pocket, Chrissy Hine. Love that first album especially.
Brian Connolly of Sweet. We've got Ozzy, Brian Ferry, Love Taylor, Steve Marriott.
Steve Marriott's come up about 10 times as well.
A lot. Marvin Gaye, Carole King. Robert Palmer's been a few times now.
Yeah, none of them. Well, Robert Palmer did with the supergroup. He played rock. We had a friend, a swimming instructor for our children, who was a close friend to Robert Palmer.
Elton John, Sammy Hagar. So many great names here. There's tons here. Lita Ford.
Oh, Lita Ford.
John Kay.
Trying to get that John K. Stepwolf interview.
Sass Jordan. Haven't heard Sass Jordan in quite a long time.
No, first time tonight.
Jeff Gordon. Chris Cornell. Janis Joplin. John Fogerty.
Oh, first time for John Fogerty.
Rockabilly. Eric Burden.
Eric Bird and the Animals.
Geddy Lee. Fox on the Run. Does a singer have to sing live to count as a great singer, or can they just do it in the studio?
No, they can do it in the studio as long as they're a rock singer.
Kim, hello, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Kim Trickle, Joseph Williams, Steve Lukather, David Page, Olivia Newton-John, Linda Ronstadt.
Kim's a big Toto fan.
Yeah.
A big supporter of the channel, too. Thank you.
Stevie Wonder, Tom Johnson, Pat Simmons, Alan Clark.
Alan Clark's a great singer.
Brother John, Otis Redding, Try a Little Tenderness, Chuck Negron, Danny Hutton, and Corey Wells of Three Dog Night. Yeah. Time for a Jameson. Night, night. God bless. I guess, bye, Blaze. I guess you're out.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Grace Slick. Again, Crystal Freeman, Steve Perry. I love him so much. His voice of this world. Tom Petty, Michael Sadler of Sega, second time. Marty Ballin.
Yeah, Marty Ballin.
Freddie Mercury, the guy from Stryper, and Tommy Shaw. Oh, yes, Tom Petty. Not one song I don't like by Tom.
By the way, Shem Von Schreck tonight said Tommy Shaw is the nicest guy you ever met in rock and roll. Nicest guy. And there's a great story we're going to share with you when we get that interview up.
David Byron. Darby Mills of the Headpins.
Darby Mills is a great singer. She's been on our channel, our Canadian channel. And, this channel, too.
Darren says there should be a band called Hit That Like Button. Yes, hit that like button, please.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Richie Kotzen.
I don't know who that is. I don't know that.
John, you look like Elton John with the new glasses.
They're not new.
So cool on you.
I don't wear my glasses when I'm reading because I can't. I'm covering up my ugly mole that I'm getting removed in a couple of weeks.
And then we'll be talking about the stitch.
Then you can talk about the stitch. Yeah, one stitch, she told me.
Jim Morrison, Muddy Water, Mark Farner.
Jim Morrison's barely come up tonight. Isn't that interesting?
Ronnie James.
Ronnie James Dio. Yep.
My PA brother, Brett Michaels. Levon Helm.
Levon Helm.
Bobby Kimball. Phil
Kimball's
Collins, Peter Gabriel. Them boys from Genesis, both eras.
Yeah.
Gary Brooker.
Oh yeah, of Procol Harum.
Steve Perry, David Bickler from Survivor.
David Bickler, yeah. He's
Kerr.
Been on the show.
Wow.
Of Simple Minds, yeah.
Mama Cass, Frank Zappa. We've got so many. Ronnie Van Zant.
Yeah, I love all those Van Zant brothers, cousins. Seems like everyone can sing. Their dog can sing.
Elftone said, not many know Fred LeBlanc, drummer for Cowboy Youth. If you haven't heard of them, they're worth a listen.
Oh, okay.
Gary Puckett of the Union Gap is also an amazing singer. He has a very powerful voice also. Kip Winger. Gary Puckett.
Yeah, Union Gap.
I think I'm caught up. Pretty much.
It's scaring me, man.
I know. I can go back and see if I missed any. I said Graham Goebel, right?
Graham Goebel, yeah.
Okay. Wow, there's tons, but Steve Perry's doing really well here.
Steve Perry's winning the night.
He is definitely doing well here.
We're probably going to go off before the top of the hour because you know what? It's funny when we do Friday Night Live. What did we do today, Shannon? What contraption did we clean today?
Oh, we cleaned an air exchanger, an HRV.
Yeah.
Wait, who cleaned it?
You cleaned it, honey. What was I doing? Researching.
Tons of researching.
Yeah. Jim Clench's. I think it's either his birthday today of April wine, or I think it's the day he died. It's the anniversary of the day he died. I was going to do a thing on him, and I just ran out of time. But I still can do it over the weekend. And I interviewed Jim. He was a nice guy.
I've got some more here. Sonia Flowers, the Allman Brothers.
Yep.
Steve Perry, of course.
He won the night.
Phil Moog, UFO. Steve Walsh. You missed.
Kansas.
Someone said you missed Bobby Kimball.
Oh, he's been mentioned a lot of times.
Jamie Jameson was fantastic.
Yeah, and it's a was, unfortunately. He's no longer with us.
Paul Stanley, Phil Moog, Joseph Williams of Toto. Pookie Martinez said Danica. Yeah, Danica.
Can you hear her in the background?
Probably hear in the background, yes.
We don't hear it anymore, by the way. We don't hear her.
We're kind of immune to it, but yes. Steve Perry, Dennis Yost.
Are you caught up?
I'm still going.
Yeah.
John Bon Jovi's great, but even he agrees with Steve, the voice Perry.
And John's losing his voice too. I think that. I think Steve Perry probably wants to tour again, but I don't think he'll. Well, now with the lawsuit, he'll never tour with Journey, and that's over.
JD says, take care of each other and love each other always. God bless and talk soon again.
Thank you.
Thank you, JD.
We're actually going off early tonight. What time is it? Probably in about 6 minutes, because what I meant to say is we're on a level of tiredness tonight, which is I was rubbing Shanny's feet a while ago. She was just lying in bed while I was talking to Shem Von Schreck because Danica had a not a good night tonight. She's okay now. So she went into the bedroom, and I'm downstairs in the corner where I do all my interviews, where you can see all the albums in the back. And I come upstairs, and she's talking to her mother, and I look at Shannon and going, "Oh my God, honey, you're so tired." Then I start rubbing her feet, and then she gets even more tired. And so I said, let's go out 15 minutes early for this show.
I say no problem at all. Nothing a little lipstick won't cure, right?
No, I didn't say you didn't look good. I said you look tired. You always look good.
We're always sort of juggling to come on for our Friday nights, but we enjoy it. We love doing this.
We do love it, of
It's
course.
so much fun, and we're so glad that you're here with us. And
it's more fun doing it with Shannon. If I could do all the live things with Shannon. Thanks, honey.
Well, and the topics too. Tonight was a great topic, and I just thank you everyone for being so interactive. It's been great.
We do the topic usually. I'll come up with it. Usually, today was an hour and a half before we came on. But for me, it could be 10 minutes before we come on, where I'm going, let's find let's find something, because Shem Von Schreck and I were talking about that today, the guy from Toto and Don Felder and Kenny Loggins and Christopher Cross. And I feel obligated to say that in case you don't know who he is, and you deserve to know who he is. Hi, Danica. Anyway, we were talking about negativity, and I says, it's a sad thing, but negativity wins every single time for hits. And if I didn't put realistic things that band members are saying, sometimes, here you go.
Oh, thank you, Danica.
Thanks, Danica. She's very OCD tonight.
My cleaning gloves.
Very OCD.
And let's see here. Claudia says, please don't stop trying to get an interview with Steve Perry.
I'll still try.
Thank you, Danica. Okay. Anyways, Darren says, okay, no, it's not for us. And James just said, I wish you guys both a nice night.
Thank you.
Barbara says, thank you for coming on and doing this for us, and hope tomorrow finds life loving you. Thank you, James. It's always a lovely
nice.
comment.
Appreciate that.
God bless. Too many great vocalists. Everyone has a gift.
Yeah. I believe that. I think everyone's... I'm not a religious man. I'm a spiritual man. But I believe if you keep searching, you find your thing. Right? When I met Shannon, I was at a point where, it sounds cliche, I told myself, I'm okay being single. When I go into a group of a whole bunch of friends that are all married, there's a part of me going, yeah, I'm single. I'm okay with that. This is kind of a cool thing. Meanwhile, all the married men are looking at me and going, wow, he's single. He looks happy and stuff. You see, you look tired. There you go. You're starting to fade. I can see it. She's so cute. I know her so well after all these years. But then I met her, and I remember thinking, and we spent every day together. And my friend Steve Burgess, he's the guy who gave me all the interviews that I haven't even put on yet. Steve says, you're like spending you've never spent more than 2 or 3 days a week with any girlfriend. I went, I know, I don't know. I just love being with her all the time. And now that we both work out of the home, we spend every moment together, and we just happen to get along. We're just one of those couples, and if I rub her feet a few times a day, she's okay. If I don't, we'll go, no. So what do you think? Are we...
I think we're done for the night.
I think we're going to bed.
Thanks, everyone, for coming out. It's always a pleasure to have you all
Thank you.
with us here.
And remember, if you want to support the channel, there's always at the top of the description, you can give us a PayPal donation, or else you can join our Patreon. Speaking of whack, we're putting a lot of things on there. We just did a lot of Alan Parsons. That's going to be released in the next 2-3 weeks.
And thank you so much for all the likes.
The super chats. Yeah,
thank you. Much appreciated.
Take care.
Bye.
We're going to bed.